Well, more talk about housing today as Peter Dutton's son Harry joined him on the hustings. The opposition leader says he wants to help Aussies realise the dream of home ownership. He also finally conceded his kids will get a boost onto the property ladder.
I think our households are no different to many households where we want our kids to work hard, to save, and we'll help them with a deposit at some stage.
Meanwhile, Anthony Albanese has been defending Labor's housing policy after it was questioned by economists.
I'm not sure they've looked at all the detail, frankly, because some of the things that they've spoken about don't match what we're actually doing.
Well, Insider's host David Speers will be moderating tomorrow night's second election debate. He joins us now to give us his insights. David, it's great to have you here. It's the halfway point now in the campaign.
Thanks for having me.
Well, pleasure. How important will tomorrow night's debate be for the two major parties?
Look, I reckon it's going to be critical. We're at the halfway point, but don't forget Easter's this weekend. A lot of people are going to tune out. And then early voting starts on Tuesday, a week from today. So this really comes at a critical moment. This is tight. The momentum hasn't been going Peter Dutton's way. It's been going Labor's way. So he probably, more so than Anthony Albanese, needs something tomorrow night to turn this around. So, yeah, it's going to be a high-stakes moment, I think, and an opportunity to hear their competing visions, answer the questions that the Australian people have, and hopefully we can get some answers.
Well, like you said, the campaign is short now. It's just a few days until early voting opens. So is there still time for this to shift?
Yeah, there is. You know, there's always the unknowns. Donald Trump's been one of the big unknowns, and a big looming presence in this campaign. Something else may come along that shifts this. Someone might, more than fall off the stage, have a serious stumble or mistake or stuff up. So, yeah, things can change late in the campaign. And there's a lot of people who aren't really engaged who probably won't tune in until that final week of campaigning after Anzac Day. So there's still, the prospect of this momentum shifting again. But right now, it looks like we're heading towards either a minority Labor government or even a majority Labor government. So it's Peter Dutton who really is under the pump to come up with something soon. Who
would have thought majority government was on the table not very long ago? You mentioned the Donald Trump factor. We now have numbers for this because there's polling that's come out today showing that people are worried about Donald Trump, and that seems to be working against Peter Dutton.
Yeah.
People have been talking a lot about it recently, but did you see that coming, I don't know, at the time Trump was elected?
Look, it's a good question, Waleed. I think, there were always dangers with an uncertainty around Donald Trump, even back then. But look, you're right to point to that because it was a different vibe, right? When he was first elected, Conservatives here in Australia were cheering. And even when he took office back in late January, Peter Dutton called him shrewd, said he was a man of big ideas and so on. And it didn't take long before we started to see Trump do things like that meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, that just left the world aghast, particularly allies of the US, then whacking all these tariffs on friends and allies like Australia. The mood's completely shifted. I mean, that poll told us today what most of us already know. Trump here is very unpopular, and it's hurting Peter Dutton and the Conservative side more than Labor because there is this view that they're, more similar than perhaps Anthony Albanese and Donald Trump. So it's been a problem, and he's trying to put some distance between himself and Donald Trump where he can. And to be fair, he doesn't agree with them on things like tariffs or Ukraine and stuff like that. But he does want to cut the public service. He has appointed a shadow minister for government efficiency. There are Trumpy things that he's done, and that's been a problem.
Dutton's son Harry joined him on the campaign trail. Now, I don't know why anyone brings their kids to work. No one likes it. The kids don't like it. The people around don't like it. Is this a winning strategy? Do you think, would you ever bring your kids along to help you moderate the debate, for example?
Oh, geez, there's an idea. I did have one of my kids suggest a question for me for the debate, which was, what's your favourite colour?
That's a great question.
That question in. It's a really good question. No, look, I have enormous sympathy for the kids of politicians. There's an old saying that the politicians are the volunteers, their family members are the conscripts. They don't get a choice, but they're thrust into the spotlight. Now, normally they're off limits, and I think a lot of the media, as well as both sides of politics, don't bring their kids into it. But when you bring your own kid onto the campaign trail, that changes things a bit. We saw Harry yesterday even taking a question at the press conference about he talked about his struggles as a 20-year-old to save up for a house. Turns out, yes, Mum and Dad are going to help. You'd expect that, but that was a bit of a problem.
David, good luck tomorrow night, kids or no kids, and thanks for your time.
Favourite colour. Good question.
Yeah.
Great.
Although it's obvious. Labels
Red
say
or
red
blue.
and yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're
Seemed
boring
like a good
politicians,
question.
aren't they?
Yeah,
I
they
forget.
are.